What's up, everybody? Welcome to the stream. Carlo, what's happening, T? Here we go. Starting off on level 1. Awakened Evil. This is a Castlevania clone. How's my voice? Is it too loud? Hold on one sec. Good. Sound is okay. I'm not too loud. The game's not too loud. This game straight up is Castlevania 1. If you like Castlevania 1 on the NES, because this is the NES, like all the mechanics in this game are directly from the NES. I'm gonna give you the first hint in this game. When you get to the steps, do not press diagonally ever. Press up or down. And it has the same wonky up and down steps mechanics as Castlevania. So if you're not familiar with Castlevania, this is gonna seem strange because you do have to press up and down on Castlevania as well. I mean, everything from this game echoes back to the original NES Castlevania, whether it's the skeletons throwing the bones, you know, destroying the candles and lamps to get the power-ups, the food, the secrets. There are secrets. Instead of the holy water, you have kind of like Molotov cocktails. This game does have a gun, which I thought was an interesting mechanic. This is very retro. Like, you have to like... I think most people, if you're going to like this game, you really have to like retro games. And specifically, you have to like Castlevania on the NES. This game is a straight-up tribute to Castlevania. And it is unforgiving. Like, it is NES hard. Like, you can blow a jump so easily. So you really gotta focus on every move. This is for someone that loves retro games. This is not going to be for someone that is easily frustrated. It doesn't have modern gameplay mechanics. Very much has the Castlevania NES gameplay mechanics. Once you stop using diagonals, for the most part, the game gets much easier once you understand the controls. This game is very easy to finish because you can literally select a mode where you have unlimited lives. Unlike Castlevania, which is like next to it's like the same level of difficulty as this. I would say this is like on par with the NES Castlevania. This is actually easier because it gives you unlimited lives, but I'm saying the general gameplay is very much like NES Castlevania. Also, just like Castlevania, every boss has little hacks that make them a lot easier to kill. I love the first boss because you get to behead him. Welcome to the stream, Omega 4th. Glad you're here. Brooklyn did a stream of this game on the Friday night arcade show. I kind of knew he wasn't going to like it because this is probably not his kind of game because it's so retro. This is a very old school type title. Absolutely almost a one-to-one clone of Castlevania for the NES. Yep, Tony C, it looks like 1985 has returned. Yeah, those skulls remind me of the Medusa heads in Castlevania. They have like the fishmen, like all the terrible bosses that are constantly killing you in Castlevania are basically exactly in this game. The water type levels that are weird. This game is actually so follows the formula so much that I believe this is a game that if you play it, you could easily speedrun it, because everything in this game pretty much works by a pattern from what I've played. Yeah, I don't know if the harder difficulties change it, but on the casual, it's not bad. The first boss is fun. You just jump up here, you're gonna end up beheading him. Use the environment to cheat. See how I just jumped over him without taking a swing from his giant sword? Basically, use the environment. For the most part, you can cheat your way through this. Yeah, Tony, I kind of agree with you. Like, it's very cool that it has the NES type graphics, but like if this game had a modern graphics skin overlay, or even better yet, look at that. I love you get to behead this guy. How cool was that? Like that's not very Nintendo, beheading the enemies. I don't think that would happen in a Nintendo game, but I mean, everything in this game is, you know, the chiptune music. The guards are harder. You got to hit them twice. Levels are very frustrating. You have to play them several times to be able to make it through. Everything in this game has a pattern. Especially the level with the water, where the water's rising. You just have to follow the pattern. You can watch the gameplay, and then it's easy. Basically, you got two bars. You got your red bar as your health. You got your green bar as your attack. Now there's these like creatures in the water. They kind of hide, but once you know they're there, you see them easily. The first time I came to this, I didn't even. They were so camouflaged. I just ran it. They just let them ran into me. But after you get hit once, you realize that you know they're there. Everything's so like you see they have no AI. Like they just walk back and forth. They don't really adapt. It's very much like an NES game. Very much like Castlevania. It's an absolute pattern game. And I haven't played the speedrun version yet, but there is a speedrun mode for this game, which makes sense because this game is a game that everything is pattern based. Frogs are a little frustrating till you figure out how far they jump. Then once you get an idea on like what their jump distance is, it gets a lot easier. First time you get to them, expect to get killed a few times because you have to realize how far they jump. Yeah, this is absolutely 100% Castlevania. With the infinity lives, this is a game that I think almost anyone could complete if they have a little bit of patience. And you know, I could see people rage quitting this game though, for sure. You have to understand the Castlevania controls to really get the gameplay. This is the time to use the gun with this worm. Yeah, don't get close to it. Your sword, use that gun. No guns in Castlevania. It does have the boomerang, which is basically 100% lifted from Castlevania. Now you got these kind of lizard men. These are like the fishmen in Castlevania. Exact same mechanic. They jump out of the water to mess you up. You can run and you can duck. Sometimes you do have to use the duck mechanic, but pretty sparingly. Once again, this is an unusual kind of surprise game that iiRcade is dropping on us. It's basically Castlevania. I like it. I'm not going to return it. I think it's pretty fun. But This is not for everyone, I'm sure. I'm sure some people will play this and absolutely hate it. The graphics, like I said, are very, 8-bit, not even 16-bit era. Go to the store. This game is $7.99 in the store right now. That's the price. It's an action platformer inspired by the classics, basically lifted straight from Castlevania. Let me rephrase that. Hopefully Nintendo won't shut this stream down, but this is basically Castlevania. Jump and slash your way through intense linear stages. I'm reading directly off iiRcade, by the way, that will put your skills to a test. Yeah, linear. Like the stages all follow patterns. Once you realize that, study the pattern, and you can beat any of these levels. Do you have what it takes to slay all the bosses and take on evil itself? The Dark Lord is returned, unleashing his hordes of monsters on humanity. You must wield the legendary sword and defeat evil once and for all. Yeah, I agree with you, Carl. I'll take this over a Coleco homebrew any day. $7.99. Yeah, $4.99 would have been better, but I mean, I don't know. How much is a Castlevania cartridge, though? I don't even know. But I just bought a bunch of Atari carts, and even those aren't cheap anymore. Awesome. It's also $7.99 on Steam. Yeah, and honestly, I don't think you're going to find it's a different gameplay experience. I mean, I can't imagine this game would be too taxing on anything. It's a pretty, retro type game. Okay, now there's an example. Like right there when I went down the stairs, you have to press down. If you just walk to the right, you will fall to your death. And you have to understand the stair mechanic or you're going to die a lot. Like, you have to press up and down. You cannot walk downstairs. You go to the edge of the stairs and you press down on the stick. We're at the second boss, the dragon heads. Now this boss was it's just all about having the axe. When you have the axe, he's easy. Save up your axes. Take out the one in the middle first. Yeah, this game has a ton of bosses. That's one cool thing about it. Now you wouldn't have seen that on Nintendo. There's certain things in the game that they don't do with Nintendo that make it kind of its own thing, but it's definitely like the axe thing is 100%. All the weapons are all straight out of Castlevania. I think this guy has a fetish for severed heads, because you could actually run into and kick around the last boss's severed head. Took a hit. Yeah, Atari is easy to collect. T, if you ever want to get into Atari, I would recommend you get a Retron 77. It's a great device where you can play real cartridges, and I can teach you how to hack it too. But that's a good way to get back into Atari if you don't want to collect. I collect real physical cartridges, but that's a good way to get back into it big time without having to spend a lot. just scored a bunch of really good Atari cartridges. Some of my favorites in like tip-top shape. Plus I got Jawbreaker, which is one I've wanted for a long time. I still want to pay $80 for it. And it's a great game. It's like better than Pac-Man. Because they didn't have a good Pac-Man for the Atari 2600 when it was out. This one's kind of straying from the Castlevania theme. I mean, I almost felt like this one had more of a Mario ripoff. I mean, this game definitely, let's just say it borrows heavily from certain video games. It borrows very heavily. Yeah, I have E.T. Once again, if you walk to the left, you will fall to your death. When you get to that step, you have to press up. And that's a huge mechanic. Till you learn that, like, you can't play this game really at all, because it's like you'll just constantly be falling to your death. Just like in Castlevania, you want to kind of use the steps to cheat a little bit. This game is very pattern based though. Like I said, everything in this game is a pattern. The Axemen are always a pain. You always got to remember when you come into one of those guys, you got to hit them twice, not once. They take 2 hits to take down. Now this was crazy, because you can only see where you're going to jump when the lightning strikes. The jumps in this game are not hard. They're kind of like Montezuma's Revenge. You have to stand in the right spot before you jump and then just go left or right. There's an exact jump distance though. It doesn't have multiple distances on how far you jump. It's like a measured jump, just like in Montezuma's Revenge. And that game is like 100 times harder than this, by the way. That game's probably the hardest. That's probably the hardest platformer on iiRcade is Montezuma's Revenge. I had that for the Atari 400, 800 computers. The use of the spiders was pretty wise because it keeps you from just like standing around. Because they're firing the webs at you, it kind of forces you to keep moving. This game has a lot of surprises. As soon as you think you got it figured out, it throws a different trick, whether it's the invisible blocks. There's cool bosses. There's a wolf man we're going to get to soon. Got the mummy. Once again, this level I think really broke from the Castlevania. It looks more like a Mario. By the way, the Mario movie is awesome. If you like Nintendo at all, I would say go see it. I thoroughly enjoyed it. Got some jack-o'-lanterns. And here comes the Wolfman. Once again, strategy. Hit him a few times, let him do his thing, stay out of his way. Gotta plan your attacks. After he throws the ball thing, the boulders that he throws at you, that's when he's vulnerable. typical like old school NES boss type battles. Everything is pattern based. Once you got the pattern, like any of these bosses are not a problem. Yeah, it's nostalgia. I like that he howls, and look, it changes back into a human. Yeah. You know, Brooklyn, it wouldn't surprise me. I bet you they'll come out with this for the iiRcade. We've got like the Kung Fu dudes now. They got the crazy ball and chain thing that expands. And we've moved away from Super Mario World. Now we're in Ice Climber with Castlevania characters. And like I was saying, this is not going to be everyone's jam. This game is super retro. I mean, you have to like the retro type games because this is a very retro game. The play mechanics are from like, you know, from NES time. The ice sucks. It's easy to slide off on the ice. And of course, you've got a gun too. You do kind of want to charge up those. Sometimes you need those for the bosses though. You're just joining. The red bar is your life. The green bar is your ability to use your special. This was tough because you can't pause really because it's slippery. Up, over. Next screen. Every screen, they will respawn you infinitely. So, until you beat that screen on casual mode. I haven't played the other modes yet, but on casual mode, basically you can play every screen to this checkpoint infinitely. You can see it as an infinity sign up at the top. One up. That's a Schofferhofer. It's a really cool beer. It's got like a grapefruit flavor. It's really good. They used to sell these at Disney World. That's where, believe it or not, that's where I found this beer, and then I never saw it again. And then today, I found a place that had it, so I bought some. It's very good. On to the next boss. Fire-breathing dragon. Time to use those guns. Well, Omega Fourth, if you're drinking Schofferhofer, you've got good taste. I love this stuff. It's so good. It's very, like it, I've never seen it in Louisiana. Stay out of the fire blast. I took a hit. You can see I took a lot of life. Use your gun. Two more levels, two more stages, stage 5 and 6. I like, this is probably my favorite chiptune part of the game. I love this song. It just sounds great. I wish it appeared earlier in the game. You got the dungeon. Got to use your sword there. One good thing about this game that I didn't mention that makes it easier than Castlevania is there's no timer. So you're not really pressed for time in this game as far as having to do things quickly. Except for like the water level where the water's rising. I mean, there are certain things that push you, but on a good portion of the game, it's not really, you don't really have a timer you're working against. In Castlevania, you have all this difficulty and then you have the timer as well. It's one of the few times you're going to use the duck. Hold down and your character can duck. Don't forget you can attack things on the steps and attack them where you're halfway up the steps. I took a hit there. Took a lot. The green is how you replenish your special. Got the gun. Don't forget the axemen take 2 hits to kill. Several times I died because I hit the axemen once, then I jumped into them. So don't forget, 2 hits. Once again, everything in this game is patterns. Just analyze the pattern. Take your time, figure it out. Didn't time it right. Don't forget to press down when you're going up or downstairs. These platforms are crazy. Spikes on one side and safe on the other. So now you gotta pick exactly where to jump. Cool 3D effect with these pillars in the background. It kind of breaks the art style of the game, but I thought it was cool that it did it. It's about to get crazy. Oof, that was a bad jump. Use your gun. Dang. Yeah, Obsidian Contraption. This is 100% a tribute game to Castlevania. The gameplay mechanics are lifted straight from Castlevania. On to the next boss. Once again, just use the strategy. Boss is no problem. We're at the Minotaur. Unload your gun in him. Careful, the roof's going to be collapsing. Stand underneath the platform like an umbrella. When it comes out, you jump. Waste of a bullet. Jump up when he's getting ready to charge. When he puts his head down, jump on the top block so you can jump over him when he dashes at you. Jump up. Ah, didn't get up there in time. Well, I took the hit, but he's dead. Get me off the screen. And we are on the final level of the 6 stages. In the castle. That was a dumb mistake. That was a really dumb mistake, because they do that every time. Every time the candelabra falls. Everything in this game is pretty much 100% it happens. Enemies move the same way. And, I think that's a strength of this game, because it makes it so much like the NES Castlevania. I was lucky there that the candelabra didn't hit me. That was just luck. The green vials, they refill your special. The red bar at the top is your life. Just jump over the slime balls or whatever the centipede fires at you. Don't waste your bullets on them because you don't have to. Save them for the end. remember, you don't have to kill everything. It's not point-based. You're just trying to get through the castle and to the end of the game. Now, there is a speedrunning game that you can play with this too, but you really have to learn the game where you know all the levels really, really well, I think, to speedrun it. Hey, what's happening, Goofy Foot? Playing some Awakened Evil, a Castlevania NES Clone that's available now on iiRcade. You came at the perfect time. We're almost to the end boss. Let me ruin this game for you. Once again, you have the lightning blocks. They only show when the lightning hits, but they're still there, so you can jump to them. But you can only see them when the lightning flashes. We've got the boomerang. The skulls are basically the Medusa heads from Castlevania. They respond exactly like the Medusa heads do. Almost got killed there. It's easy to fall off those platforms. Okay, we're going up the last part. All you have to do is get through this part. Almost there, almost to the end. Just watch everything. Look for your openings in the patterns. Remember, you can attack the skulls, but you can't attack the fireballs. So skulls you can get rid of, but the fireballs you can't. Yeah, I agree. I mean, Castlevania is a masterpiece. This game is really just paying homage to it in its own way, but I agree with you. I still love Castlevania. And I like the Castlevania arcade even more, and it's actually harder than the NES version. They had a Castlevania verse in the college arcade, the same arcade I played Black Tiger at that I was talking about with T. McCluskey on the Arcade Talk. They had the verse version of Castlevania, and I played that a lot too. That was a very hard game, though. I don't know if I ever completed it. I've gotten pretty far, but don't think I ever beat the game completely. I think what they should have went for with this game, this would have been a good game to have like a modern reskin and then have it be where you could go from retro or modern graphics. But I'm sure it was a ton of work to make all these levels, and it does have a lot of bosses. This is it. The final boss. Watch where the light appears. The light shows up. Almost. A few more hits, all I need. Let's do this. you go. About 43 minutes, Goofy. This is Papa Brad, and I'm proud to announce that my channel now has memberships. If you would like to support the iiRcadian show, or Papa Brad's gaming on the crazy arcade adventures he goes on, you can do so. I have 3 different levels: iiRcadian's Illuminati, the iiRcadian's Inner Circle, and the iiRcadian's High Council. You'll get exclusive content that you'll only be able to view in each category. So if you enjoy what my channel does, and you want to give us a little support, help pay for the StreamYards and the expenses of doing the show, this is a completely optional thing, and I'm just putting it out there. So thank you. This is Papa Brad's Gaming, reminding you to stay legit.
Inferior, you know I'll always be a bit superior. Get off of me, this ain't no humble brag. I want you to hear words, you can say them back. I want you to feel free from the chains at last, and to believe in what you got, it was built to last, yeah. Now that I've been put through hell, I never got anyone's help. I had to do it all myself. I don't ever slow up, no I don't take shit. I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up and make a statement.
It's pretty dope.